Okay, you should all be able to see my screen now. And if you're not seeing the Join Admin screen, let me know and through the chat. Okay, so the training that we're going to do today is based off of posting jobs, which I'm sure many of you have done before, but we are going to talk about the intricacies and best ways to post jobs, and we'll probably also look at some postings on the job seeker side. As I mentioned before, we are recording this, and we will make it available on the admin site as a video as well. So, of course, to post a job, we would go under Job Postings, and then Manage Job Postings. And then we break that up generally between certificated and classified. And if we're going into a certificated position, click on the link there. And that brings us to a list of active jobs. The terminology that we use is kind of important to understand. Active jobs on EdJoin are jobs that have not been archived yet. So active jobs could be closed, or they could be open positions, or they could be positions that have not yet been opened but have been saved. So we have active jobs and archived jobs. From this page, if we want to quote-unquote delete a posting, we would check the box in front of that posting and then click the button to archive the selected posting. That posting has now been archived, which basically means it is read-only until it gets purged from the system. Jobs get purged from the system after a minimum of 3 years from their archive date. So you're not actually deleting anything. Right? You're mainly just marking it as flagged so that you don't have to look at it each time, and also to set the clock on when it should be purged from the system. It is important to kind of keep your postings pretty clean, otherwise over the years that list will just grow and grow and grow. The Add Posting button up at the top is going to give us the form to create a brand new posting, whereas Copy Posting is going to allow us to use an old posting so that we don't have to do a lot of the work. And then Archive Postings will take us into the postings that we have previously marked as archived but have not yet been purged out of the system. And I can copy both active and archive postings. I'm just going to click on Add Posting to start with a blank form. And when we start with a blank form, the first item that we have is to limit the posting to current employees, and then a drop-down menu that lists the number of days. So that drop-down menu really only makes a difference if I click on that box. So if I click on the box to limit to current employees, then for the first 10 days that this posting is up, I will have a message at the top of my posting that says, this posting is for internal use only. Please don't apply unless you are currently an employee. It does not, however, prevent anybody from applying. If I put a password in there, then during that first 10 days, anybody that clicks the Click Here to Apply button will have to enter in that password. How you disseminate that password is up to the district. For certificated postings, oftentimes you can just do an email blast. Sometimes for classified postings that may or may not work, as some of your classified employees either may not have email addresses, or if they do, may not check their email addresses. So that's what we use that for. Our next item is the job type, and while this is a required field, this is not an exhaustive list of job types. This is really just to sort of help EdJoin break up job postings into specific groupings and to help applicants search through postings. So it's a best fit. Find the one that best fits the needs of your particular posting. And then you have the position title. I recommend with the position title, because it's one of the searchable fields with keywords for the job seeker, that if you are allowed to, be as verbose as you can in the position title. And what I mean by allowed to is some districts have, as part of their bargaining unit agreements, that they have to post the position title exactly as it is on the job description. And if that's the case, we certainly would never recommend that you violate any of those agreements. However, if you do have some leeway, you can add additional keywords in to help search, and also the way you formulate your position title will help applicants search as well. For example, if I'm looking for a math teacher, instead of just typing math, I will teach mathematics. The reason I do that is I will get people that search either way, either from math or that search for mathematics. If I put math in, I will only get the applicants that searched for math and not the ones that search for mathematics. Another thing to watch out for is using any sort of punctuation in the position title. If I'm looking for a math and science teacher, many districts type it this way: math/science. The problem with that is EdJoin will think that math/science is a single word. So if I search for science, EdJoin's not going to find my posting. The way to solve that is in between the slash and the S, put a space, and now science will be a searchable term. I also like to put a space there, but that's just to make it look even to me. So if I'm looking for a math and science teacher, the best way to write that would be in this format: teacher, space, dash, space, mathematics, space, slash, space, science. I can also put in additional keywords such as high school or middle school, depending on what other descriptive information there might be about this posting. Because we're in a training district, I'm going to add in some additional language. Okay. Under the position title, then we have a drop-down for the posting masthead. The masthead is the district logo that is posted at the top of a posting, also at the top of the district job list, and at the top of the application. The posting masthead drop-down lets you override the default settings. So if you as a district have multiple mastheads in there, you can select a different one than your default. So if I had one just for my special ed department or just for my math and science department, I could go to my math and science masthead and have that separate from what my normal postings look like. The masthead URL optional, by default, when somebody clicks on your masthead, they'll be taken to your district website. The masthead URL optional field is when you're changing that default behavior, let's say to my math and science header, wouldn't it be nice if when they clicked on it, instead of going to the district website, it actually goes to the Math and Science Department's website? So what I would do is then I would get the URL or the web address for the Science Department's homepage and paste that in here, and that will make it so when they click on it, it would go straight to the Science Department rather than the district webpage. And if you're leaving those normal, then you can just ignore both of those fields. Number of vacancies at time of posting, that's pretty self-explanatory. For districts that are using third-party screening tools, this area right here where you're seeing Require Target Success Sketch, this is where you would see any links to any third-party tools that you had for the posting. Most districts do not have those, but we do have that available. Salary info and work year. Because this is a training posting, I'm going to put NA in both of these. No specific format is required, but both fields are required to be filled out. Even though we don't require any specific format, it is our opinion from the research that we've looked at on our own postings that the more information that you have there, the better off you are. Also, if for the salary info you are not comfortable putting the range in for whatever reason, and you want to say see salary schedule, certainly that's okay. Just make sure that you have a link to the salary schedule in your posting, and possibly that you list which range that is. So if they're on A1 or whatever your ranges start out as, so that they know where to look. And we will get to adding in optional links closer to the end here. Another good thing that you can put in the salary info or in another field that I'll show you how you can do custom field also a little bit later. But if you feel that your district may not be paying as much as districts around you for this particular job, one of the things that you might do to your posting is to include some of the benefit information in that field as well. And if your neighboring districts are not doing that, people coming and looking at your posting and seeing the salary plus the benefits may make them feel that they're getting a better deal than another district that only posts the salary info. Employment type, whether it's full-time or part-time. The contact person. The contact person drop-down menu is pulled from the list of users for the district. New people can be added by whoever the district administrator for EdJoin is at your school district. And people of any user level can be selected as the contact person. So a small school district can select a principal rather than an HR person as the contact for the posting. Just remember that the person's name and phone number and email address will be visible to people perusing the job posting. Another thing is that contact person, quote unquote, does not have to be a real person. The contact person, you can set up a user whose first name, for example, is human and whose last name is resources. That has a generic email address that goes to an email account that anybody in HR could access, and maybe a general phone number to HR rather than a specific person's desk number. A number of districts have done this in the past. Also notice that whenever we have one of these blue circles with a question mark in it, if you hover your mouse over it, it's going to give you additional information. below the contact person, you can check whether or not you would like to receive email whenever somebody applies. The smaller the district, the more likely they are to want to get that contact email. And this is another third-party integration that we have, so you may or may not have the Gallup interview code drop down on your job postings. All right, so we are going to move from the posting specifics to the application specifics. And the first thing that we're going to start with is the date the posting opens. And so if I wanted this job posting to go up today, I'd start with today's date for the date the posting opens. However, you'll notice that as I go to put the deadline in, I'm going to select yesterday's date. The reason that I've selected yesterday's date is I have not completed the posting yet. But there are several areas on this posting, such as adding a new job description from the posting itself, clicking on Choose Document Requirements or Choose Credential Requirements, clicking on the button to add new link to the link library. Any of those 4 buttons is going to save my posting. Postings that have an opening date of today's date will go live on a 10-minute cycle. As the person posting the job, you don't know where you are in that 10-minute cycle. So if I were to put the 23rd in as the closing date and then added a new job description here, my job posting could go live mere seconds after I click this button. And then when the job seekers see it, they see a half-finished posting that doesn't have the materials required, doesn't have an application selected, doesn't have the documents required listed. So I can avoid all that by making sure that I put yesterday's date in there. This will give me a chance to save my posting, make all of my changes, review the posting, make sure it's to my liking, and it won't go live until I go back in and then change that date. Some people choose to do the same thing rather than put the deadline in the past. They'll put the date posting opens as tomorrow's date instead of today's date. This certainly also gives you the same opportunity to look at your posting before it will go live. On the other hand, by changing the deadline, if I get distracted and never get back to finishing my posting today, it won't go live. However, if I do it with the posting opens as tomorrow's date and I get distracted and I don't go back and finish my job posting, it will go live tomorrow, still unfinished. So that's just something to keep in mind. The job description / essential elements. I can select from my drop-down menu of job descriptions that are in my library. If a job description is not already in my library, I can click the Add New button from here. And when I do so, it will take me to the job description page where we recommend that you upload PDF files rather than inputting text. The PDF files, you can ensure the format looks the same on everybody's posting. And you would already have the scanned file on your computer or the PDF original, and click Browse. That will bring up your file, you browse, so look for it, hit Save, and now your job description has been uploaded into the system. Because we did it from the posting, I am now back on my posting and my new job description is selected. But because I did that from the Add New button, this posting is now saved. So again, because the deadline's in the past, it's not going to go live. But if I had the deadline in the future, my posting could be live already at this moment. Also remember that when you're in this area with the job description, if you click on the Add New Job Description and you decide you don't need a job description, use the Cancel button rather than the back button. If you hit the back button, you will end up with a duplicate posting. So please stay away from this. Creating new postings is the main reason that we tell people not to use the back button on EdJoin. Also be aware that we have the by date, but we also have until filled or continuous. Until filled is 6 months from the opening date. Until filled is 12 months from the opening date. The system will automatically update the deadline date based on the opening date. Oh, continuous is 12 months. Sorry. Until filled is 6 months. Continuous is 12 months. You'll also note that we do 11:55 p.m. and the reason that we do that is because people get confused about midnight. Midnight is actually 12 a.m. and so when they see 12 a.m., they think that it's really lunchtime. When they see 12 p.m., they think that it's midnight, and then they don't get their applications in on time. This is why we default to 11:55 p.m., but you also have control over that. Many districts set this to 5 o'clock p.m. or 4:30 p.m. That's really up to you. For positions that you would like to use a EdJoin online application for, the online application dropdown is where you would select the application that you are going to use. You can customize applications through your libraries through custom applications. We're not going to do that right now, but we do have the ability to select an online application there. Select a no again just for a second, just to point out the custom app URL. If there is a position that you are not going to accept an online application through EdJoin for, but you already have an online application, whether it be an actual form they can fill out or whether it be an application they can print out and then fill out and bring to you, if you're not taking an application through us, you can put the URL to your off-site application in this custom app URL box. That way they'll still have the button on the posting to click here to apply, but it will take them outside. Okay, so now I've selected a custom application. We have an option to select an in-district application or not. The custom application or the in-district application is an application that at this time cannot be customized. You either have it or you don't. And as you select it, it is a shorter application. The long form application, this one up here, takes 6 or 7 pages, depending on if it's certificated or classified. The in-district application is 3 pages, but those 3 pages are modified to specifically look at questions revolved around who their current supervisor is, what school site do they work at, so on and so forth. We do plan to make them customizable in the future, but currently they are what they are, so if you use it, you will have to enter in a password. And again, that password is something that everybody will enter in when they apply using the short form application. Unlike the password for limiting a posting to current employees, this password up here is optional. The in-district application password is not optional. You can also opt to have your current employees just apply using the long form of the application as well. We also can set the masthead that we're using on our application. Again, most districts should already have a default masthead selected for their application. So unless you're changing the default behavior, you won't have to change this drop down here at all. The applicant email. When applicants submit their application, they are sent an email from EdJoin. It's the only automated email in the whole system. When the applicant goes out or applies, if the select email message is left here, the default message will go out. If you want to select your own email from your email library, again under your libraries, you can select your own email if you don't like the one that we have. Just remember, for those of you that have used the email feature before, every other place in the system that you send out an email, you have the option to modify it before it goes out. This email here, if you select one from your library, will go out exactly as it is in the library. So do be careful of that. You can also elect to add an email attachment. And so if, for example, you require everybody to take a skills-based assessment test, you could attach the testing schedule or any other thing that you would like to attach. That brings us into the documents and materials section. We have certificate materials required, explanation of required documents, and then the choose document requirements and choose credential requirements buttons. Those seem repetitive, and they sort of are, and intentionally. We like to think of a job posting like giving a public speech or writing an essay. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what tell them what you're telling them. Tell them what you already told them, and then maybe tell them one more time just to be sure. The more times that you have information posted on the job posting, the less bad you feel about it when they tell you, I didn't know that I had to have that document, or I didn't know that I needed to have that certificate. So don't be afraid to repeat the same information in a couple different places. The other thing that particularly these two boxes can be used for is if I'm using the Choose Document Requirement tool to enforce document requirements, meaning applicants will not be able to apply unless they attach the required documents, I can use for example, the explanation of required documents for things that I'm actually not requiring but would like to see. So for example, if I am requiring a resume and 3 letters of recommendation, I can use those in the Choose Document Requirement tool and enforce those. If I would also like to see a cover letter but I am not requiring it, then rather than put the cover letter in the Document Requirement tool, I would put that in the explanation of required documents. So let's do that now. Introduction, not required, not. It also helps if you spell right when you're doing your job posting. Applicants won't notice things like job descriptions or requirements, but they will notice things like typos and bad punctuation. Okay, so you'll note I said letter of introduction, not required but preferred. So now if I go into my document requirement tool, now I can go in and I'm going to choose to enforce my document requirements So anything I list on this page, applicants will have to include in order to make sure that they can submit their application. So I'm going to add a new document group, and I'm going to call this one resume. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to click on the button to add a document, and I'm going to look for my resume, save that. I'm going to add a new document group, and I'm going to call this one letters. Now in EdJoin, we have both letters of recommendation and letters of reference. We have that because some districts are adamant that they receive one or that they receive the other. Most applicants probably don't actually know the difference between the two. And if you as a district don't care which they are, you might want to make sure that you allow both. So I'm going to say letter of recommendation, 3, no more than 6 months old. Save that. I'm going to add another document to that. That's going to be my letters of reference. And say 3, no more than 6 months old. Now this note that I'm putting in is not binding in that the system's not going to see the 3, it's not going to check the date of the letters of recommendation, but you're putting that information in there so that the applicant knows that that's the correct information. And I might want one other thing, and I'd say the credential, again, helps when you spell right. And now I'm going to look for a credential copy. One thing, if you're asking for a credential copy, it's good to put a note in there that says, please do not use printer-friendly version. For those of you that have looked at certificated applications before and have seen the credential copy, the CTC on their website has a printer-friendly version, which sounds like exactly what applicants should print out and give to the district, only it has no information on it. So we like to tell them not to use the printer-friendly version so that they know. So why did I set those up this way, and how does this work? Each of the blue bars represents a requirement. And because I'm enforcing the requirements, they must meet each of the requirements. So I have 3 requirements: resume requirement, letters requirement, and my credential requirement. Underneath the blue bars, anything that is underneath them will satisfy that requirement. So for the resume blue bar, the only thing I have there is a resume. So only a resume will satisfy this requirement. Under the letters bar, however, I have letters of recommendation and letters of reference. So either letters of recommendation or letters of reference will satisfy this requirement. So I can have either or in this instance. And if I go back to the posting by saving, you'll see how the applicants will see this. So they've got each of these bullets as a requirement, and then after the bullet describes how they can satisfy that requirement. So credential copy, letters of recommendation, or letters of reference, resume. The Choose Credential Requirement tool works exactly the same way as the Choose Document Requirements tool. The only thing that we would recommend with this tool, however, is to not enforce the credential requirements unless you are working with a credential analyst that knows all the possible combinations of credentials that they might be able to hold and teach that class. And there are a lot of combinations for most subjects, so just be aware of that. Clicking the Back to Posting link. So I've got my documents listed, and you'll see again, so I I'm indicating to them that I would like to see a letter of introduction, but because I did not include it in my document requirements, if they don't attach it, the system will still allow them to apply. Comments and other information. This is underutilized by most school districts. The comments and other information can be filled with 3 pieces of information. Well, probably more than that, but 3 good pieces of information that go in there are any additional information about your hiring process that they need to know. So, for example, applicants and classified positions that are going to be required to take a skills assessment. You could say, after initial screening, candidates that will be moving on to the second portion will be required to take a skills-based assessment. We will be sending you the schedule for that. Anything that they should know. You don't necessarily have to describe the whole hiring process. They don't need to know what all the steps are, but anything that affects them directly, that's a good thing to put in there. Another good thing to put in there is a brief description of the district, your mission statement, so that they know who you are. Of course, they could have clicked on your masthead and gone to your district website where they would see that same information. But the more that you can kind of put in there and personalize, the more your postings are going to stand out from other districts' postings. The other thing that goes really well in here is a description of your community. Using EdJoin, or really any online service that is centrally located the way EdJoin is, you're going to get applicants from all over the state, in fact, potentially from all over the country. They may not know where you are located. If you are San Francisco or LA, they know where you are and who you are. If you are Turlock, which is the town that I grew up in, people that live in your town don't know where you are. So you have to take that into consideration. This can help to get people to filter themselves out, and that's just fine. If they didn't want to work in your type of community, if they're a flatlander and they don't want to live in the foothills and that's where you are, then it's better that you get them to screen themselves out than you do a lot of work trying to screen them only to find out later. So having a good posting that has a lot of information in it can help in getting quality candidates, both by enticing people to make it seem like you've spent a lot of work on this posting, and also discouraging people that maybe learned something about your district or your community that they didn't otherwise know. Enforcing document requirements is also another good way to control pool size. So if you have too many applicants for you to deal with, seriously consider on those postings enforcing document requirements. If you don't have any problems with applicant pool size, you may not need to enforce document requirements. Also with the document requirements, your bargaining unit or your union may not feel comfortable in enforcing those for everybody right off the bat. So one of the strategies that some districts use is to pick the postings that are most likely to cause them issues, either because of the sheer number of applicants or because of the massive turnaround in that type of position, and also the positions that require some sort of technical experience, IT, teachers, clerical positions. It's a lot easier sometimes to get the bargaining unit to agree to allow those positions to have document requirements than it is to, say, do a blanket across the board, including new duty supervisors and bus drivers who don't need to have the same level of technical expertise. So that's just kind of one strategy for possibly dealing with that. Attachments warning page. So after they sign their name and click next, if this box is checked, applicants get one more page. That's the last sort of warning to them that we put on there, telling them, make sure you did everything the district asked for. Here's what the district told us they asked for. But you can put your own custom message on that page as well. That brings us to our optional fields. Now, optional fields are fields that you can use because there was something you wanted on the posting that we didn't give you a spot for. There are things that you can use for in-house purposes only, so the applicant won't see it. And there are also things that you don't have to use every time. And so you'll notice location, supervisor, and position control number are already in here, even though we didn't add those in. And that's because those are actually in our posting options under system users. So these three are set to show up on every posting when I create a new one. Now, unless I fill out both the name of the field and the information in the field, this field will not show on my posting. So as it is right now, if I were to do a save and view, and of course it won't let me do it because I have a pop-up blocker on. Let me go into that one we were just creating. Click to view on it, join again. You'll notice that there is no location field on my job posting. However, if I come back in and put information in that field, and we're going to save that. And refresh this page. And now there's a location on my posting. So unless I have both of those, the name of the field and the information, it won't show. I can also choose not to display it to job seekers. So if I don't want them to know, say, my position control number, I can choose to not display that. I can also choose to print it on the application if that's what I want to do as well. And so things like location, benefits, position control number, supervisor. Another thing that some districts use this for is if they have to reopen a position, they'll use one of the optional fields to list the original dates, but just reopen the existing posting so that they don't have to screen the same set of applicants again. And that way they can keep a record of what the original dates were. Down here at the bottom, optional links. In the system users posting options, there are 3 optional links that can be set that will show on every job posting. In addition to those 3, there are 2 more that you can set right here. And these ones can be more posting specific if need be. You do not necessarily on your posting need to have a link to your district website. And when they click on the employer name or the masthead, it would automatically take them to the district website. So you don't need that as one of your optional links. But you can have things like to the Chamber of Commerce or first-time homebuyer program, or if there's an intern program for aspiring teachers in your county, or anything that you think either relates to the job that has more information that they need, like a link to see the salary schedules, or anything that you think might give them more information about the community so that if they are possibly looking at relocating, that they can kind of get some more information about that. The test and preference point section, this is basically where you would name the tests and or preference points you're using for that posting. We are in the process of changing this out. The test score information that's currently in EdJoin is more like a reporting tool. We're moving to a tracking tool. So this section is actually going to be changing in the not too distant future. I don't have a time frame yet, but we will be changing that to a tracking system. So just to cover a couple things before we do any questions and answers. Job postings are the first impression that a lot of job seekers are going to have with your district. Once you have set up a very nice posting that has all of this information, if you use the copy posting feature, it's going to pull all that in, so you're not having to redo the work every time, but the job seeker doesn't know that. So if they look at one posting that's got almost no information and no masthead, and then they look at another posting that has all sorts of text, really good link, nice masthead, to them it looks like that one took a lot more time. In reality, both postings probably took about the same time. So think about your job doing job postings as not just HR, but also a little bit of PR, because you will be attracting, particularly on the certificated side, people from outside your geographic area that maybe don't know that much about you or your town. But a good job posting, now that I'm happy with that, I can move that forward. Good job posting has a lot of information, and having that extra information is the first level, first thing that you can do to help control the size of your applicant pool and to control the quality of your applicant pool. The better your job posting, the better the pool will be. The second thing that you can do is using the document requirements and enforcing them wherever you can. And the third thing that you can do is using a custom application rather than just the generic application. But the custom application is something that we will cover in a separate webinar. And so with that being said, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and unmute, and we'll go over any questions anybody has.
Joshua, this is Regina from Nevada County.
Yes.
I don't know if you want me to ask these questions now. It's regarding attachments.
On applications or
it'd be like emailing applicants through the system and the attachments that you're including in that. Do you want me to wait?
Yeah, let's just wait on that just one moment, and we'll come back to that.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other questions? All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording. And so now that I paused that recording, Regina, go ahead and answer that question. What specifically was your question?
Okay, I have two questions. When I start to email applicants, I find that I need to upload an email attachment or change something in the email library. So I've already started the letter, and then I have to get out of it, go to the library, load the attachment, and then start over again, start the process over. Is there any way to toggle back and forth? Because it's almost like you have to make sure all of your attachments are already loaded before you even start that email process.
Unfortunately, right now, no, there isn't.
Okay.
Because in order to reload the drop-down that has the attachments in it, we'd have to reload the email page.
Okay.
We are doing a complete site redesign, so that's certainly something that we could look at. But I would just, if you know that you're going to have attachments, I would just start and look there first.
Sure.
If you're doing an email that you know is going to have attachments, just check the attachment library first for right now.
Right. And then my second question regarding email attachments is, if I want to add an attachment, a job description that's already loaded in the job description library, I have to also load that same job description into the email attachment library to attach it to my email. I would like to see if there's any possibility that it would be included in the same.
Well,
So here's what could happen, and what had recently happened is I loaded a job description into the job description library, and then the email attachment library has the same title but a different job description, an older one. And so that was attached, and you can't view it until you go through the entire process and do a save or a test to see what's actually attached.
Just trying to think if there's an easier way to do that right now.
Okay.
Got that disabled on your right now. We certainly can look into that. The only issue we'd have there is, we're storing those in two different tables in the database, so we'd have to make some changes to do that. And like I said, as we're doing our site redesign, we'll take a look at everything and look at the suggestions. So certainly you can email that suggestion in, so that when we get to that point, we can look at that. What you could do right now, though, is rather than attach the job description, it looks like in posting options you have it turned off right now. So there's this link on job postings to view other job descriptions, essential elements. It looks like you have that turned off right now, but if I go to another district, let's see if they've got it on. See how it comes to a list of the job descriptions that are in NetJoin?
On the screen right now?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, did I? Let me see here.